I was 3 years overdue for a mammogram. 3 years. And I had absolutely no intention of getting one done. That decision almost cost me my life. Last fall, Mom and I were both diagnosed with breast cancer at the same time. No house, no home base, no permanent address, just living full-time in our RV, both facing bilateral mastectomies. The only reason I found out I had it at all was because of her.
We showed moments of this along the way, but we've never really sat down and told the whole story from the beginning until now.
All right. So let me take you back to how this all started, because it did not start with me. It started with Mom. Mom, or Barb, also known as the traveling grandma, for anyone who's new here, she found out she had breast cancer for the second time in April of 2025. She and her doctors decided to see if medication would stop the cancer. We drove back for her results in September, and unfortunately, she was going to need a mastectomy. And when you get news like that, everything stops. The whole plan, the trips, the gate guarding, the next campsite, it all stops. We had a decision to make. Where do you go? Who do you trust with something this serious? She chose Cincinnati, Ohio, and honestly, that decision changed my life, literally. Now here's something most people don't think about. When something like this happens, when you live in a house and a health crisis hits, you stay home. You have your doctors, your pharmacy, your neighborhood, your routine. We don't have any of that. When Mom got her diagnosis, we were on the road. The Jayco Talon is our home, and we were in Texas. And there's no house to go back to. There's no local doctor who knows our history, no neighbor who can bring over a casserole. I mean, you figure it out on the road. You always figure it out on the road. That's just RV life. Except this time, the stakes were a lot higher than a broken water pump. So Cincinnati is where everything changed. What none of us knew, what I had no idea, is that going to Cincinnati for Mom was going to save my life. Stay with us, because this next part, I still can't fully believe happened. So we're in Cincinnati. Mom is going through her appointments, her pre-op, doctor appointments, all of it. And we're right there with her every step of the way. And someone, I think it was my sister Benita, asked me, "Have you had your mammogram done recently?" I hadn't. I couldn't remember when I had it last, but it was just a few years ago. Well, I was 3 years overdue. Now, here's the honest truth. I was not in a hurry. My doctor, my primary care, everything was back in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I wasn't in Cincinnati for me. Getting a mammogram was not on my list. But we were already there, so I thought, fine, let's just get it done while we're here, and they can send the results to my doctor in South Carolina. Then I got the call. I had breast cancer. And I remember just sitting with that, because Mom is already in the middle of her own diagnosis, and now I'm sitting there with mine. I was in total denial. I'm basically having a party at the biopsy appointment. You know, I got my sister there and she's filming it for me. And I mean, I just knew there was nothing wrong with me. Well, if I had not gone to Cincinnati for Mom, if I had waited until I got back to South Carolina a year or two later and then got around to scheduling it, who knows when I would have found out, and who knows how far it would have spread, because it was an aggressive cancer and I was already 3 years overdue. and I still almost didn't go. And now here's the part that is still hard to wrap my head around. We both needed surgery, bilateral mastectomies, both of us. First mom and then me a few weeks later. And here's where it really got complicated. I'm not from Ohio anymore. My insurance, my doctors, my entire medical history is all tied to South Carolina. Getting treated as an out-of-state patient in Cincinnati is not simple. There were phone calls and paperwork and hoops I didn't even know existed. Insurance issues, provider networks, records being requested and re-requested, and then re-requested a third time. But we got through it because that's also just RV life. You solve the problem in front of you. You don't have the option of waiting until you get home. You are home. Because the alternative was going back to South Carolina, leaving mom to go through that surgery alone. That was never going to happen. And here's something that full-time RVers might understand immediately. Something that people with a home base probably don't understand or wouldn't get is when you're sick and you need treatment and you're from out of state, you can't just stay somewhere easily. We don't have a hotel budget on top of a cancer treatment budget. The Jayco Talon is our budget. The Jayco Talon is where we sleep. It's our home, it's our kitchen, it's our living room, it's our recovery room. Kenny was incredible through all of this because while we're navigating surgery, insurance calls and all of it, we're still full-time RVers. He took care of everything, the generator, the water, the slides, even dinner, all of it, without being asked, without a single complaint. When you're looking at a bilateral mastectomy and your mom is looking at hers, you find a way. You figure out the paperwork, you make the calls, you don't go home. I wasn't going back to South Carolina for this.
We were each other's support system. That's really what it came down to. I never worried about myself as much as I worried about her. That's just what happens when it's your child. Even when they're grown, they're still your child.
She said it better than I could. So mom's surgery was in October of 2025, and mine was in November of 2025. Bilateral mastectomies, both of us. After mom's mastectomy, she needed a real bed, not a camper, the mattress in the camper. Her granddaughter has mom's adjustable bed, the kind that you can raise and lower and position just right, and that's where we went first, just for a few days to get her stable and to let her body start to heal with some real comfort. And I slept in the chair beside her. I wasn't going anywhere. After a few days, we made our way out to my uncle's farm in Peebles, Ohio. And I want to take a moment right here because the people who showed up for us during this season of our lives, I need you to understand what they did. They went so above and beyond. My uncle had a farm. We could park our Jayco Talon there, so we had a place to land. That sounds simple. Well, it's not simple. When you are a full-time RVer with no permanent address, and you are both recovering from surgery, having somewhere to be is everything. And it was cold, winter cold. We were running heaters in the Talon to stay warm, and the farm's electric bill reflected that. It spiked because of us, because we were there, using electricity, doing what we had to do to stay warm. My cousin stepped up and helped cover that bill without being asked, without making it a big thing. I need people to understand something. When I say our family showed up for us, I don't mean one person. I don't mean a single gesture. I mean multiple people quietly doing what needed to be done. That's who they are. Now, I want to paint you a picture of what recovery looks like, actually looks like, because nobody talks about this. You know those steps getting into the RV? Well, after a bilateral mastectomy, those steps are a project. You grip the handrail differently. You move slowly. You think about every movement in a way you never did before. The bed in the Talon is our bed. It's not a hospital bed that adjusts. It's not a recliner you can sleep in for 2 weeks. We made it work with pillows and positioning, figuring it out night by night. Well, in the process of trying to get in and out of that bed, I ended up ripping open my incision, and that put us about, 3 or 4 weeks behind in my healing process. But anyways, space is different in an RV. You can't just disappear into another room when you're having a bad day. We were together, all of us, Kenny, Mom, and me, in that Talon, navigating the hardest thing any of us had ever gone through. And honestly, I think that closeness helped. So Mom is healing out at the farm slowly, day by day, and I'm still waiting on my own results. What a strange place to be, watching your mother recover from surgery while you're sitting there not knowing yet what's coming for you. I tried to keep busy. I tried to just focus on her. Then came the decision about chemo. The doctors recommended it, but Mom had been through treatment before. She knew what it did to her body, and she made her call. She turned down chemo. It was too hard on her body, and I respected that. It was her body, her choice. But she still had to do radiation, 5 days a week for over 8 weeks. Now, Peebles is not exactly close to Cincinnati and the radiation center. There was absolutely no way we could afford the fuel going back and forth every single day. Not 5 days a week, not for 8 weeks. I mean, you do the math. It adds up fast. And we were already stretched. So we got hotel rooms. The first ones were cheap. And I want to be honest, those beds were awful. I mean, just terrible. I mean, springs were coming out of them. But here's the thing. Even in those miserable hotel beds, we were still better off than putting that kind of mileage on the truck every single day. Sometimes not great is still the right call. Then something happened in week 3. One of my cousins, she had reward points saved up, hotel reward points, and she just handed them over to us. Used them to book us into a nicer hotel for the week. Better beds, a little more comfort, at a point when we were both running on empty. And I can't even begin to tell you how bad we needed it. And I didn't expect that. You never expect something like that. She just did it. And the electric bill, and the farm, and the hotel, and the cooking, all of it was family. So the radiation started, and Mom got really sick those first couple of days. I mean, really sick. I was watching her and thinking, we cannot keep doing this. I mean, I was ready to take her to the ER. But she finally turned a corner, and she started feeling better, and she kept going 5 days a week, because that's Mom. She just keeps on going. We were about 3 weeks into Mom's radiation when it was time for my surgery. Here's the part that I still struggle with when I tell it. Mom had to go back to her granddaughter's house while I was recovering. A cancer foundation, and I cannot thank them enough, picked her up every single day and took her to her radiation treatments. On paper, it made sense. Kenny couldn't drive Mom to and from the radiation every day and leave me alone in the RV to recover. He just couldn't do both. Logistically, it was the right call. But I felt terrible, like we were shoving her to the side, like, here's your ride, Mom, we'll see you when it's over. I mean, she was still in the middle of her own treatment, still going to radiation, still recovering from her own mastectomy. And we sent her to sleep at her granddaughter's house without us. That one still just sits with me. but she never complained, not once. And that's Mom. When Mom finished radiation, she came back to the RV and we all exhaled. And I have to say something about Mike. That's my cousin's husband. That man cooked most of our meals while we were recovering. When Mom wasn't feeling up to it, Mike was in the kitchen. Nobody asked him to take that on. He just did it. And Benita was at every doctor's appointment, made meals for us, never made us feel like a burden, not once. That's what family does, I guess. But you don't really know that until you need it. Mom would have a rough day and I'd be having a better one, and I could be there for her. Then I'd have a rough day and she'd be the one checking in on me. That's the thing nobody tells you about going through this together. You get to trade off. You don't have to be strong every single day. Without my uncle, my cousins, and Mike, we would not have had a place to land. We would not have had warm food. We would not have gotten through the winter. The Jayco Talon is home, but the farm in Peebles was a place that held us together when everything was hard. And I will never forget that, not ever. Now, we're not telling you this story for sympathy. That's not why we're here. We're sharing it because I was 3 years overdue for my mammogram and almost didn't go this time. There is somebody watching this right now who is in that exact same place. Maybe it's been 2 years for you. Maybe it's been 4. Maybe you keep telling yourself, I'll get to it. Please go. That's the whole reason I wanted to make this video. Not for us, for you. Mom's cancer saved my life, and I don't take a single day of that for granted. We've shown you the cheap campsites, the $6.80 night camping ideas, the Honda Pioneer on the trails, the gate guarding and the sunsets and all the good stuff. This is the other side of full-time RV life, the real side, the side that doesn't always make it into the highlight reels. When something unexpected hits on the road, and it will eventually for everyone living this life, you find out what you're made of.
We found out we're made of pretty good stuff.
Mom and I are doing well. We're back on the road, living this life that we love, and we're grateful for every single mile of it. And we're going to keep not sugarcoating it, giving you the real numbers and the real campsites, the real life. And sometimes the real life includes breast cancer.
If you're putting off having your mammogram, please don't. It found me twice. It found my daughter. Just go, don't wait, don't hesitate.
Schedule your mammogram this week, not someday, this week. Leave us a comment and let us know. Are you up to date? And if this video was the thing that pushed you to finally make that appointment, I really, truly want to know that. That is exactly why we made this. So thank you all you adventure seekers for watching this. Just remember that life is good, and we'll see you in the next one.